World's crude steel production is roughly 1800 to 1900 million tons per year, of which around 70% of steel is produced using iron ore and coking coal, and the remaining 30% is produced using ferrous scrap. Now let's see how much ferrous scrap was consumed in crude steel making in the past calendar year 2022. According to SteelMint's data, consumption volume was recorded at 620 million tons, a drop of around 7% year-on-year compared to 654 million tons in 2021. The key reason is the decline in crude steel production globally. The war between Russia and Ukraine had wide-ranging ramifications in the form of escalating energy prices. The energy crisis fueled an inflation, which in turn led to a drop in steel end-user demand in the European Union. Overall, global crude steel production dropped 4% year-on-year to 1,878 million tons in 2022 against 1,960 million tons in the year before. The share of electric arc furnaces in steel making dropped 5% year-on-year in 2022. Since EAFs are the major users of ferrous scrap, a drop in their production contributed majorly to the overall drop in ferrous scrap consumption. Now let's see which were the major scrap consuming countries in 2022. Let's start with China. The world's top crude steel producer consumed 225 million tons of ferrous scrap in 2022, down by a marginal 1% year-on-year. The share of scrap consumption in China's crude steel making last year was 22%. The country's crude steel production stood at 1.01 billion tons in 2022. The next largest ferrous scrap consumer was the European Union. The European nation's scrap consumption was recorded at 78 million tons in 2022, decreasing by 11% year-on-year. The EU's scrap consumption share in its crude steel production was 57% in 2022. The third largest scrap consuming country was USA with 55 million tons, a drop of 7% compared to 2021. USA's scrap consumption share in its last year's crude steel output was 68%. Following this was Turkey, which consumed 30 million tons of scrap in 2022, which was lower by 14% year-on-year. The consumption share in country's crude steel output was 85%. Japan also consumed 30 million tons of scrap in 2022, registering a 14% year-on-year drop. Its scrap usage share in crude steel output was 34%. Other major scrap consuming countries in the past year were Russia, India and South Korea at 28 million tons, 26 million tons and 25 million tons respectively. Now what is expected in the future? Scrap is an important raw material in steel making. As many countries in the world are focusing and prioritizing decarbonization, the usage of scrap for steel making is definitely going to increase in the future. So this is all for today's video. Stay tuned with SteelMint for more informational updates.